Is LinkedIn becoming too social? I've been a LinkedIn advisor, coach, consultant, trainer, keynote speaker, literally you name it, because I am a huge LinkedIn fan since 2000, I think, and 6. And I've seen LinkedIn change so much, right? So I read something this morning, actually, I forget who it was. I'll have to tag you later. Someone put out a post this morning. I was like, hey, that's an awesome post. And he asked whether LinkedIn content is becoming toxic. And I was like, that's interesting. And he started talking about the toxicity of content from people outside of his network coming and kind of like invading this LinkedIn space. And I thought, I got to talk about this. But more importantly, I got to talk about LinkedIn. Is it really becoming too social? So if any of you, again, I'm Jasmine Sandler, LinkedIn author, trainer, consultant, keynote speaker. If any of you have read my books, or I did like this huge recap of LinkedIn from like 2015 to 2018 on my LinkedIn article page, you know, I talked about the changes in LinkedIn since Facebook Workplace started investing, right, in Meta. And LinkedIn kind of really saying, you know what, we need to take on a lot more social media functionalities as a social network, right? But that could be harmful. So I want to talk about, do you think, and from my perspective, LinkedIn is becoming too social? So there's obvious ways we can see this, right? So all the people that are putting about things about their babies and their dogs, although I love my dog to death, doing too much of the personal, right, on LinkedIn and not doing enough of the professional. So if we go back to the mission of LinkedIn since day one of LinkedIn is to be a business-to-business networking place and a place for hiring people, right? That's the basic functionalities of LinkedIn. Now you can basically treat LinkedIn like Meta, right? You can share stories of your kids and what's going on at a wedding and this and that and the other thing, celebrities, so on and so forth, right? Does that dilute your ability to do business on LinkedIn? And I think it does. So I want to talk to you about this. So number one, with all this fluff content, what does it do? The answer is obvious. What it does is it ruins the ability for your content to be seen. You could be doing the best job putting out content. More importantly, you could have some really important content that you're putting out to serve your audience. And it's getting squashed by babies and puppies, right? So yes, that to me is the most obvious issue if LinkedIn is becoming too social, right? Secondly, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've seen this a lot. I've seen a lot of posts, specifically in the last couple of years, about is LinkedIn a dating service? I think it's hilarious because I owned and sold a social network in dating back in like 2005, right? I never thought that LinkedIn would be a place where people are asking people for dates and things like that. Why does that happen? Well, it doesn't just happen, and it didn't just happen. It happened because people started putting out more personal content. So then it becomes, oh, okay, this is a personal social network. So I like this woman or I like this man or whatever, whomever, I'm going to reach out to them in a dating sort of way. That becomes an issue. That becomes an issue. Why? Because then they were crossing these lines of, should I meet with this guy or should I meet with this woman to do business, but then I might meet with them and it's a date? That becomes a problem, okay? Definitely. Number 3, I could go on, but I'll just do a few today. Is it too social? What does that mean, okay? So we've seen, and I've written about this, I actually think I was on Fox TV about this a few years ago, about when Facebook, remember, was under, Mark Zuckerberg was under a ton of heat that Facebook wasn't being regulated. Remember that? And then there was all this backlash, and he had to go to court, U.S., Congress. He had to, Supreme Court, he had to deal with a lot of crap because there was harmful content. Harmful content. And I've talked a lot about this, even I think on CBS and NBC maybe. Harmful content, which isn't just content, right? It turns into action, and it could be negative action, right? It can turn into things like revolutions on the largest end of the scale, right? or it can turn into internal battles between people. So the possibility of negative content on LinkedIn is a major problem. So is LinkedIn becoming too social? Unfortunately, in a few ways, it is. And who is it up to fix? It's up to the community, really, right? It's really up to us to have the right behaviors. So it's not just you doing the right thing on LinkedIn. And what's the right thing on LinkedIn, right? Having proper etiquette. If anybody wants a free copy of my book on LinkedIn, go to Amazon, look up my name, look up my LinkedIn books. They're all available for free to you in the Kindle library, right? And I have a whole section I did on etiquette, because etiquette is really important. It's easy to do things online that you wouldn't do in person. So as you are spending your time on LinkedIn, selling, creating relationships, providing value, think about, would I do this in person? Would I say these things? Would I post these things for business if I didn't know someone, right? So those things are really, really important as you think about how you want to use LinkedIn. And then if you see, back to the point that I was talking about in the beginning of the video, about the person in my network who did a really nice job about talking about toxicity on LinkedIn and content. If you see something out there, do what he did. Share that information, because we don't want that to damage our experience with LinkedIn. We don't want that to damage, at the end of the day, opportunities for us to get jobs, get business, and grow our careers. So yes, it's up to us to fix the problems as users and those that benefit using LinkedIn.